buymecoffee.com/eatsamerican to support us. Now let's start today's program. Hello there, fellow stargazers and history enthusiasts. Welcome back to It's American, sponsored by sparkscash.com, the definitive podcast where every episode is a bold journey through the very fabric of the stars and stripes. I'm your host, Roger Heilig, and today, we've reached episode 3. This episode is fated to ascend amidst the remarkable highs and navigate the poignant lows which characterize our nation's ambitious endeavors beyond the Earth's sphere. Today's enlightening show narrows in on an incredibly significant chapter of the American narrative, one that is stamped indelibly in our nation's collective psyche, the space shuttle calamities. As we begin to delve into this absorbing narrative, let's all take a reverent moment to honor the blend of daring courage, groundbreaking innovation, and the stark realities so deeply inherent in the realm of space exploration. This is a journey marked by iconic achievements and equally touched by profound sorrow, each event being fundamentally pivotal in forging the remarkably robust American space program we are acquainted with in our modern era. Together, we will revisit the pivotal events that radically transformed the very essence of the nation, deeply reflect on the indomitable and resilient spirit that emerged in the aftermath, and comprehensively explore how these defining moments of severe trial and intense tribulation unequivocally reshaped the trajectory and path of America's relentless pursuit of the distant and mysterious stars. Fasten your seatbelts firmly and gear up for a groundbreaking liftoff as we initiate the compelling countdown to a conversation that is brimming with boundless curiosity, a heartfelt tribute, and a resolute critical examination of the transformative lessons learned in our bold quest for the vast heavens. This is It's American, and our profoundly insightful episode, delving into some of the most intricate and challenging aspects of American space history, proudly begins right now. Ladies and gentlemen, brace yourselves as we embark on the riveting origins of the American space program and our compelling fascination with the uncharted reaches of space. We spin this yarn starting in the thick of the Cold War, an era that didn't just sculpt international politics, it ignited one of humanity's most epic endeavors, the unequivocal conquest of space. For America, the pursuit of space wasn't solely about scientific advancement or the allure of discovery. It was a demonstration of unrivaled pride and the assertion of technological dominance in a world riven by conflicting ideologies. The journey truly accelerated with the Soviet launch of Sputnik in 1957, indeed, that lustrous metal orb scarcely larger than a beach ball. That pioneer, emitting beeps from its orbital path, accomplished more than a mere voyage around Earth. It unequivocally declared the Soviets as frontrunners, and that singular act incited an unparalleled urgency within the United States, igniting an insatiable drive never seen before. From there, the U.S. government established NASA in 1958, which stands for National Aeronautics and Space Administration, for those who might have wondered what that nifty acronym meant. And NASA wasn't just about launching rockets, it was a statement, a commitment that America was all in on taking the lead in space. Now, fast forward a bit, and boom, the Apollo program. When President John F. Kennedy declared we'd send a man to the moon and bring him back safely before the decade's out, some thought it was a pipe dream. But in 1969, when Neil Armstrong took that one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind, it was as if all of America had taken that step with him. But it wasn't just about nations competing anymore. It became about pushing the boundaries of human capability, about exploring the unknown, and about the dreams of what could be out there. Sci-fi writers and enthusiasts had fantasized for years about space travel, and now it was real. Kids glued themselves to the TV for each launch, and adults marveled at the technological achievements. This fascination, the thrill of space travel, has led to innovations we use every day, from materials developed for spacecraft now in our athletic shoes, to satellite technology that powers our weather forecasts and GPS. So, as we start to unravel the layers behind the tragedies that would later befall this bold endeavor, remember this fundamental American drive, to explore, to innovate, and to dream. It's this cultural heartbeat that set the stage for both the magnificent achievements and the heartbreaking losses we're about to get into. Feel that sense of anticipation? That's the essence of the dream of space travel, an everlasting curiosity and an ambition unbound by gravity. So hold tight, as we're about to embark on a journey through some of America's most defining moments in our cosmic quest. It's incredible to think that it was the morning of January 28, 1986, when the Space Shuttle Challenger was etched into the memories of millions. The air was cold, the sky a clear blue, and the anticipation high. 7 astronauts, including a teacher named Krista McAuliffe, who was set to be the first civilian in space, boarded Challenger. The nation watched, brimming with pride, as the countdown commenced. Challenger launched into the sky to the sound of cheers, but just 73 seconds after liftoff, the unthinkable happened. A bright yellow flame, a violent explosion, and the shuttle was engulfed. Silence fell across the country as we witnessed the demise of Challenger and its brave crew in real time. Screens across America bore witness to the plumes of smoke trailing in the sky, a haunting image that symbolized not only a national tragedy, but the loss of an era of innocence in space exploration. The immediate aftermath of the disaster was a mixture of shock, grief, and disbelief. Families of the astronauts, NASA officials, schoolchildren watching live, a collective heartbreak that transcended the usual boundaries of news. There were questions, so many questions. How? Why? Was this preventable? The whole nation seemed to be in a state of paralysis, trying to grapple with how a symbol of technological marvel and human ambition could disintegrate so horrifically. President Reagan addressed the nation that same day, with words that echoed the collective sorrow, yet aimed to offer solace and honor to the souls we lost. Investigations began as the world demanded answers. It was a moment that changed the course of the American space program forever. The dreams of space travel remained, but now they were tinged with the somber understanding of the risks our astronauts take to touch the stars. It was not merely a loss of life, but a distinct shattering of that seemingly seamless image of space exploration that we steadfastly held as unassailable. The recovery efforts were promptly and meticulously enacted. The nation collectively mourned our fallen heroes with profound sorrow and deep veneration. And through that process of collective heartache, we were led to the stark, undeniable realization that the quest to journey amongst the stars was fraught with even more perils than we had previously acknowledged with open eyes. Yet, as the annals of history would eloquently illustrate, America's indomitable resolve when faced with adversities, challenges, and the very fabric of uncertainty itself is as boundless, unquestionably, manifestly even more so, as the endless cosmos we strive to explore and understand. This unwavering resolve underscores our continued commitment to the pursuit of knowledge and the expansion of human presence beyond our blue Earth's confines. In the wake of the Challenger disaster, the nation was in mourning, yes, but it was also chasing answers. What went wrong on that fateful January day that led to the loss of 7 brave souls and a spacecraft that was a symbol of American ingenuity? To unravel this, President Ronald Reagan appointed a commission, led by former Secretary of State William Rogers, hence the name, the Rogers Commission. The first revelations were startling. A failure in the O-rings, which were essentially rubber seals designed to keep hot gas from leaking through the joints of the solid rocket boosters, was identified as the primary cause. Now picture this: on that particularly cold morning, the resilience of rubber dipped. The O-rings, rigid from the chill, failed to seal. It was a design that should have withstood any foreseeable condition, but the frigid temperature fell into a blind spot, an oversight with catastrophic repercussions. In the investigations that followed, it wasn't just the O-rings that came under scrutiny. The Commission's report brought to light a culture at NASA where concerns about safety were downplayed, where the urgency to keep launch schedules seemed to take precedence. The Challenger disaster became a case study of how ignoring small problems can lead to a monumental tragedy. Following the Commission's report, NASA took a hard pause. The shuttle program was suspended as the agency took a step back to reevaluate and reform. Safety measures were overhauled, management structures realigned, and communication channels between the engineers and the top brass were strengthened. Processes were put in place to ensure that a dissenting voice could rise above bureaucracy, that no warning went unheeded simply for the sake of convenience or the race against time. The space shuttles themselves went through extensive redesigns, addressing the technical faults that led to the disaster. Changes following the Challenger disaster transformed NASA's subsequent space endeavors. The agency emerged with a more rigorous approach to risk management and a reinforced commitment to ensuring such a tragedy would never recur. It was a sobering reminder that the conquest of space, for all its potential and promise, was fraught with risk that had to be respected and anticipated at every turn. From the ashes of the Challenger, a resilient NASA arose, cognizant of the lessons learned and more prepared than ever to chase the stars, cautiously, carefully, but still with that unmistakable drive that propels humanity into the unknown. It left an indelible mark on the space program, shifting the narrative from what space exploration could achieve to how it must be approached, with precision, with humility, and with the weight of responsibilities carried on the shoulders of those who dare to dream big. 17 years after the Challenger disaster shook the nation, America would once again face a dark day in the history of its space program. The Space Shuttle Columbia, on February 1, 2003, was set to conclude its 28th mission, STS-107. It was a routine science mission, one that had garnered less media attention compared to the shuttle launches of the space race era, or the first steps on the moon. But, by the end of that day, the shuttle, and all 7 of its crew, would be lost. Columbia's mission had started on January 16th, under the command of astronaut Rick Husband. Alongside him were 6 other crew members, including pilot William McCool, mission specialists Michael P. Anderson, Ilan Ramon, the first Israeli astronaut, and Kalpana Chawla, an aerospace engineer who was on her second spaceflight. Also aboard were mission specialists Laurel B. Clark and David M. Brown. The diverse and skilled crew was tasked with conducting multiple experiments in space. As the world watched Columbia lift off, it was unknown to the spectators and mission control alike that a piece of foam insulation had broken off from the shuttle's external tank. This seemingly minor event set in motion a catastrophic chain of events. Analyzing the foam strike, engineers sent communications to the crew about the potential risk, but there was a belief that even if the foam had damaged the shuttle's thermal protection, it was likely not a critical issue. The Columbia continued to orbit the Earth, and the crew conducted their experiments, unaware of the fate that awaited them. On that fateful February morning, as Columbia re-entered the Earth's atmosphere, the compromised wing could not withstand the intense heat generated by re-entry. The shuttle broke apart, resulting in the tragic loss of the crew and the orbiter. The country, once again struck by the tragedy, watched in disbelief. For the second time in its history, the American space program was under scrutiny. Questions were raised about the safety protocols, the aging shuttle fleet, and what the future of human space travel could look like. In the immediate aftermath, flights were grounded as the nation mourned. NASA went back to the drawing board, not just to find out what went wrong, but to ask the bigger, harder questions. Was the shuttle program still viable? How could the United States ensure the safety of its astronauts? And what was needed to rekindle the fire for space exploration that had driven the country to the stars in the first place? The Columbia disaster, much like the Challenger tragedy before it, forced a reevaluation of the American space program. It was a painful reminder of the risks involved in space travel, and yet, it also underlined the resilience, the courage, and the commitment required to push the boundaries of human achievement. The loss of Columbia was indeed another blow, a somber chapter in the story of America's journey to the final frontier. But even in the face of tragedy, the shuttle program and the American spirit endured, looking forward to new horizons and the dawn of a new era in space exploration. The legacy of the crew of STS-107 continued to inspire those who would carry on their mission, reaching for the stars with hope and determination. In the solemn aftermath of the disasters that shook our nation, NASA and the United States were faced with a critical challenge: to learn from these tragic events and make a positive leap forward in the realm of space exploration. Particularly after the loss of Challenger and Columbia, 2 guiding principles emerged: safety and innovation. So, what lessons have we distilled from these heartbreaking moments in American history? First and foremost, NASA overhauled its approach to safety, scrutinizing every aspect of their operations, from the drawing board to the launch pad. The investigations that followed each disaster were painstaking and thorough, resulting in recommendations that would shape the future of space travel. These recommendations weren't just technical, they were also cultural, pushing for an environment where engineers and technicians could raise concerns without fear, where critical checks were not just a procedure but a creed. It is important to remember that the Space Shuttle program itself was not scrapped immediately in the wake of these incidents. Rather, the shuttles continued to soar into the cosmos until 2011, when Atlantis completed its final mission. This marked the end of an era, but also the beginning of a new chapter in American spaceflight. During this period, NASA continued to learn and adapt. They improved the shuttles incrementally with each mission and each challenge they faced. Now, you might wonder, what happened post-shuttle era? America looked to the horizon, not with trepidation, but with determination. NASA began to foster partnerships with private companies, the burgeoning commercial space industry, which has since taken significant strides towards sustainable space travel. Companies like SpaceX, Blue Origin, and others have introduced a competitive edge, pushing the boundaries of what's possible with rockets that can land back on Earth and be reused. Looking ahead, NASA's Artemis program sets the stage for returning humans to the Moon, and eventually, with eyes filled with starry ambition, to Mars. Unlike the Apollo program of yesteryear, Artemis is designed to establish a sustainable human presence on the Moon, which will serve as a stepping stone for the Martian surface. It's not just a series of missions, it's a forward-thinking infrastructure that includes the Gateway, an outpost orbiting the Moon that will enable long-term lunar exploration. In our pursuit of the cosmos, we stand on the shoulders of brave astronauts and tireless teams who paved the path with their dedication and sacrifice. As we look to new horizons and worlds beyond our own, we carry with us the stark lessons of the past, ensuring that each new leap into the vast unknown is taken with respect for the risks and a commitment to safety that honors those we've lost. Through adversity, we've garnered strength, learning that to move forward is to embrace the future with a spirit informed by the wisdom of history. The American space program continues to inspire and amaze, showing the world what can be accomplished when we combine our sorrow with our dreams, our reflections with our actions. As we embark on new adventures among the stars, we never forget that each small step and giant leap is built on lessons learned, lives honored, and a collective resolve that looks ever upward. So why do we, as a nation, persist in pushing the boundaries of space, especially when knowing the risks? It's a primal call, isn't it? From the moment we gazed up at the sky to the time we marked our calendars by the stars, space has been that ultimate frontier. It's the vast unknown that compels us to explore, to seek out new understanding, and ultimately, to find our place within the cosmos. America's commitment to space exploration speaks to that very drive. When we launched our first satellite, when we planted a flag on the Moon, we weren't just making history, we were answering a call that is embedded deep within our human spirit. The benefits, the rewards we gain from space exploration, they're not just scientific, they're inspirational. For every child looking up at the night sky, dreaming of what's beyond, our space endeavors tell them it's within reach, it's possible, and that they could be the ones to unravel the next mysteries of the universe. Yes, the risks are real. Space is an unforgiving place. Losses like Challenger and Columbia, they resonate through time as solemn reminders of the price paid by daring greatly. But consider the rewards we've reaped, advances in technology, communications, medicine, and not just tangibles, but the intangible spirit of innovation and resilience. And think about the International Space Station, orbiting over our heads, where astronauts from around the world live and work together. It's a testament to what we can achieve when nations unite in peace for the greater good of humanity. We learn not just about space, but also about ourselves, our physiology, our psychology, and we push the boundaries of human endurance. So, while space exploration is fraught with risks, the journey reflects the best in us, our curiosity, our bravery, and our unyielding quest for progress. We explore because we must, because the next horizon, the next discovery, the next small step for a man or giant leap for mankind, is waiting for that indomitable spirit that says, let's go further. And so, we press on, driven by the ultimate reward, knowledge that enriches not just America, but the human experience itself. Well, folks, we've come to the end of today's journey on It's American. Together, we've navigated the heart-wrenching tales of the Challenger and Columbia tragedies that forever marked the American spirit in space program. We traced the origin of America's love affair with space, felt the national pride swell with each launch, and ached with the sorrow of unexpected tragedy. We've also delved into the rigorous investigations that followed, the determination to learn from our mistakes, and the unyielding resolve to do better, because that's what space exploration is all about. It's about the unquenchable thirst to push boundaries, to know the unknown, and to ensure the sacrifices made by the brave souls aboard the Challenger and Columbia were not in vain. As we close today's episode, let's remember the lessons learned from our past and look forward to the promise of tomorrow. America's journey into space is far from over. It is evolving, with new players, new technology, and renewed spirits. Speaking of looking forward, make sure to tune in to the next episode of It's American, where we'll take a detour from the stars above and dive into the rhythms of American music,